one of the most enjoyable series of the season.
McIntyre with high hopes for this series, high hopes that we have for this series. It's always awesome to get to talk to that guy.
It is. You know, I got to spend even more time talking to McIntyre this past week, and he talked to me. He said he looks forward to going against Goku, but more so the history between them. They have a long history, and he filled me in on a lot of things in the relationship that he has with Goku. He says that when they play together, it's not just about like the casual, normally hold the lane, try and win casually. He said they go all out against each other. He actually had a special request like, hey, tell the Observer to check us out. We're normally throwing down sprays, trying to outclass each other. And so they have this relationship, a bond between, but they also have that competitive nature, which makes it really exciting to have this matchup.
Yeah, I love seeing the respect or hearing the respect that he has to Goku, and should make for a fun time. Just about every single lane, all of the matchups that we're going to see here. You talk about, man, Crowan versus Dansky and Kier, Arthalon 2. I'm ready for this series. I know you are too, so let's get with it. Game 1 takes place, and I have a lot to say about this map, but let's start with the bans. Braxis Holdout is the normal ban for Heroes Hearth, despite the fact that nobody as such has picked it yet. Cursed Hollow has been the normal ban for Team 12. Small chance, I felt like they could have switched to Volskaya Foundry. They banned it in their first series, but otherwise have been way more focused on the Cursed Hollow. But the Tomb is an interesting one, Jay Howe. It's a favorite of both teams, though I would put it as more important for Heroes Hearth to get the win here. I feel like between the two, Heroes Hearth has 2 favorite maps that we've seen from them so far, but we know how many favored maps Team 12 has.
Yeah, but the thing is, it is a favorite of Team 12. When it was a favorite of Gale Force, however, that went to the side of Gale Force. That was the one map that they dropped in that series. So despite it being a favorite, we also saw them go more of that safer playstyle than we've seen in some of their other drafts. So I wonder if that loss to Gale Force will be something that they change, or if maybe Heroes Hearth can take advantage of it if they don't.
Not just Gale Force. Simplicity beat Team 12 on Tomb of the Spider Queen as well. I'm not saying that it's not a favored battleground for Team 12 as much, but Heroes Hearth should see that weakness and should capitalize on that. This should be a win for Heroes Hearth, because Heroes Hearth, when you look at their record on Tomb of the Spider Queen, 3-0. They have beaten Team Freedom, Tempo Storm, and Space Station on Tomb of the Spider Queen. This should be a Heroes Hearth win if they are looking to take a win in this series overall.
I think the interesting part will be when it comes to the bans, because I think most of that has revolved around the Hanzo Greymane play of Crowan when it comes to this battleground. His Hanzo play has been insanely aggressive, and when you have the Tassadar ban, that normally seems that you're willing to give up the Hanzo and maybe go the Greymane yourself.
Yeah, Tass Hanzo's undefeated for Heroes Hearth. It is such a strong combo, and some of that comes down to the plays with Diablo and Ishbu and how strong he is with Diablo, but Crowan also, he might not have played as many games as Hosty and as Psalm with the Hanzo, but his Hanzo is just as deadly in the 3 games that we have seen with him. It's an important hero for him. Though we've seen Heroes Hearth come in every week with a different strategy, a different game plan, and they largely stick to that game plan. So it might be that they've already adjusted off of that, knowing how strong all of that combo was, so we'll have to see if that was even something that was on the board for them this week.
Hanzo and Genji both let through. Very rarely do we say that, but this is Tomb of the Spider Queen, so things are a little bit different. Obviously, the high priority on Greymane is there. Well, one hero that Team 12 doesn't prioritize like some of the other teams is ETC, although for other teams, he's actually fallen off just a little bit as well. So with Team 12, I feel Genji, Greymane, Hanzo have to be considered unless they've got something up their sleeves. They've been known to play Chromie, so maybe some synergy around there is possible as well.
Jay, how are you concerned at all about BBJ and Uther? Both Buds and BBJ have had a lot of Uther preference, but it feels like BBJ has been loath to switch out of that, except for maybe a Rhaegar here and there.
Yeah, I think that could be something. That was definitely something that I started to notice last week as well. So a Greymane is okay if you want to go Uther, right? But it's when you get to other parts of the draft where Uther can potentially struggle. The Malthael in particular is one of those heroes, has good AoE damage with his heroic, and then it could cause problems for that single style. So Malthael, obviously, huge contention point when we talk about Goku and McIntyre. And so the solo lane obviously will be something to keep an eye on, but the Uther part definitely does worry me at times.
Well, Hanzo's up, so is Uther, if that is still the priority for BBJ, and Heroes Hearth want to get that higher up. Ishbu has been playing a lot of Anubarak and Diablo, a little bit of Johanna here and there, but he's stuck to those two. And I would just say for Heroes Hearth, until we actually see what's working for them, if there's any particular hero synergies, duos, combos that are something that they've been obviously practicing and want to focus on. I'm going to start with Uther Genji. That's a good start.
I mean, if you're going to get Uther and you don't want to make sure you use him too much defensively, you can make sure that you can find a way to use him offensively. And Genji is a great pairing when it comes to trying to get good value out of a Genji and a Divine Shield.
That is very true. Genji, though, he doesn't really offer much in the way of the wave clear, so Heroes Hearth will need to make sure that they're adjusting for that somewhere else. And same with Uther. He is going to be hyper aggressive and can make the backline of Team 12's life difficult, more difficult to say the least. Now we look over to Team 12. ETC is still up. Johanna, if we see the return to Johanna favor for Justing. I don't think he played her at all yesterday though, correct?
That's a good question.
I'll check it out.
I almost wonder if they might be willing to go into that Medivh Diablo style, at least the Medivh style. I mean, Greymane can be flexible between Cure and Dansky, but what we saw from the Medivh before from Dansky was quite terrifying. We get a high Blaze priority.
Both Goku and Justing are playing Blaze. And Stukov. We've got that big area stun. If people are grouped with Jet Propulsion, drop the Bud's lurking arm underneath. We know they love that synergy with a lot of different warriors. Why don't we try it out with Blaze?
Wonder if we'll get Bunker for the Dragon Blade. So Dragon Blade comes out, everybody just kind of hops in the bunker. And if they need to, they just get right back out. They have armor when they come out. So the Medivh respect, though, is here. That is the ban hover.
Yeah, if the focus for Heroes Hearth is trying to make sure that they can get some sort of immediate kill, Medivh stops a lot of that with both Leyline Seal as well as his Force of Will. With good old-fashioned protected, by the way, I think you like to throw that out.
Sometimes.
Every once in a while.
I mean, having it twice, I mean, all we need is Varian at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time since we've seen him. The Medivh does go through. Now, if you're Team 12, there's so much to consider in terms of what could potentially be coming out. I mean, Genji Uther kind of shows a one dimension of what could potentially be multiple dimensions in what Heroes Hearth likes to run. And when they have Arthalon back there, one of the more flexible players that we have, it does bring up a lot of questions on who's going to be on Genji. Likely Kron, but it could just as well be Arthalon. I mean, the flexibility back there right now, maybe you just focus on a tank and say, maybe we don't want Arthas. Maybe we don't want the potential Sonya from McIntyre, which has worked out successfully for him on this battleground and multiple battlegrounds.
Could see a Malthael again. That seems to be the standard here when they're looking at not quite sure what to give. Could be the tank, as you talked about. I might be something that is more wave clear focused and try to eliminate some of those options. Something like the Gul'dan. We've seen Arthalon's Gul'dan before. Or the Johanna, though Ishbu's played it a couple of times. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pick her up. Yeah, they will. They'll ban Johanna.
I think Chromie.
Two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I think Chromie might actually come into this draft for either team.
Yeah, I've seen Dansky before.
If they get the follow-up stun and the slow and potential root past level 13, those are easy targets to hit, and they've run Chromie multiple times on this battleground.
Well, at least in this instance, Heroes Hearth already has set themselves up nicely for that, and having a support who has Cleanse, so Temporal is less of a factor. Though Slowing Sands is going to be very deadly off of the combo that Team 12 has already acquired. Malthael Jaina. This is a highly potent composition for Heroes Hearth.
Which means that could potentially just be Crowan on Jaina and leaving Genji over to Arthalon. With that, I mean, that solves the wave clear problem. So they have the dive potential, they have the shielding potential. Malthael, though, going into a Stukov and a Blaze style. Blaze obviously giving the armor. If they do go bunker, however, percentage-based damage definitely ignores that.
Still waiting on a backliner for Team 12. Is it that Chromie? Is it something else?
There's an outside shot at Lunara.
It's happened once before when Team 12 played versus a solo support Uther. Was Battlefield of Eternity. Also, either Justing's hero or Goku's hero, just depending. Either can play Blaze. Though on this map last time it was Goku. Not going to be this time, Ragnaros. And they'll take the Gul'dan.
So the Gul'dan definitely gives them an extreme amount of wave clear, gives them good frontline control. Johanna obviously up there. So now ETC has made it all the way through this. BBJ and Ishbu, the two newcomers. BBJ on the Uther primarily. If you want to try and get some dive plus some added protection, ETC does give you that, but ETC getting locked down by a Stukov is a terrifying prospect.
Yeah, there's a lot to deal with that kind of playstyle now too, having a Gul'dan. Horrify makes him one of the more safe backliners mages because he also has things like Consume Soul, the Health Stone, Drain Life as a way to keep himself alive if Stukov has to take care of other people. You've got the Flailing Swipe. All of that is going to make things more difficult for the Malthael Blaze, or the Malthael Genji. We've got a Stitches.
I was just thinking Stitches. So Stitches solves the problem of hard engage into a Stukov, because that's a pretty terrifying thing to do, especially with the silence there. And when you look at all available tanks there, you know, you have ETC, you have the potential of Nubarak, but then what kind of complements this style when you have a Jaina back there? You can dive a little bit with Genji, but you don't necessarily need to follow him in, especially when you have a Jaina. Instead of hard engaging, just bring them to you. And I looked at the other side of the draft. I was like, man, the mobility is really lacking there. Greymane, unless he's in Worgen form, has the disengage. Blaze normally is going in, still can get out. But when you look at the rest of Ragnaros, Gul'dan, Stukov, you can get a slight movement speed buff from Ragnaros, but that's it. And I'm sitting here looking at a lot of targets with low mobility. Stitches makes a lot of sense here.
That it does. He's going to help out too. If we see a potential slam build, trying to help out Jaina with the wave clear too, since as we saw the first two picks, rather lacking in that, how important that is for Tomb. And the threat of hooks is real against Team 12. It's what Simplicity used to get a win on this very map versus Team 12. Does HeroesHearth pull off the same? Let's find out.
We're going to find out right away, as HeroesHearth will be our team on the left in blue, as it will be Ishbu on Stitches, Crowan on Genji, leaving Arthalon to be on the Jaina, BBJ on Uther, and McIntyre rounding it out there on Malthael.
And in the red, the power team of Team 12, Dansky, he'll be playing Gul'dan. Kier is going to be on Greymane, Justing playing the Blaze this game, as Goku will be on Ragnaros, and finally Buds playing Stukov.
This is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. Dampen Magic picked up, no slam. Going to try and deal with some of that Gul'dan damage, and a lot of it will be ability damage. Ragnaros, he can throw down a little bit himself. So taking care of a little bit there. Arthalon just daring somebody to step out as he pokes down.
Echoed Corruption build for Dansky. A safe build, being able to just focus on the Corruption, trying to make sure that he can be more in a backline position, be less of a target for Ishbu and those hooks. And the hooks have a lot of follow-up from HeroesHearth in the way that they've drafted. They already had the Uther, they have the Jaina too for the slows, so there's a lot of kill potential right from the start for HeroesHearth. Team 12 respecting that.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be, if either of these teams is going to try and do something early, I think it's going to be the Stitches hook into the hammer, into the Jaina damage, because both these teams have incredibly good wave clear. And trying to find somebody in rotation, you've got to be quick on your toes, because both these teams are just they're gonna clear, rotate, and play the globe game a little bit early with a couple of these heroes.
Going to be watching how Team 12, in building into Echoed Corruption and Ruinous Affliction later on, how they're able to make sure and execute on kills. Maybe we'll see a go for the throat from Kier, given the fact instead of a Cursed Bullet. But maybe we'll see Cursed Bullet if he wants to put the pressure on, the hurting on to that giant frontliner that is Stitches. There's a slight invade from HeroesHearth, but Team 12 responding appropriately ensures that they still get their bruisers.
Still get them. Nobody on the side of HeroesHearth has gone over towards that direction. When you do go a lot of mage style, these Knights obviously get quite a bit more value by putting out that spell armor. Jaina does okay, though, just because she has so much damage, period. So it does make it a little bit easier to clear those, but they'll still, as we've seen on this battleground, get a lot of early structure damage in. Now that with the gameplay changes and these spawning earlier, people are more than willing to grab them, see what they can get, and just go from there.
Now, as we talked about the hooks, Blaze has jet propulsion, so we'll likely see Justin trying to tank some of those hooks away from the Gul'dan, the Greymane, and once he finishes new habits, which will also be helping him ensure that he has his trait up more often, but he will also have that Unstoppable, which can help too once he uses Pyromania.
And again, the priority on the camps, Goku and Cure seem to be the duo to try and make this happen. They got plenty of damage with Greymane there. Crowan not able to sniff it out in time. HeroesHearth had Malthael split off, that's why Crowan was here. But multiple camps picked up in the early game here for Team 12.
Yeah, using Kier in that Worgen form to do significant damage in this bottom lane. They take out one tower, they're looking for a second. This not only enables and helps out Goku a lot more, he's lands on Kier, movement speed there from Goku.
They were just shy of having enough over in that rotation. They don't want to give up too much. So Malthael split off top, making sure not to lose out on too much soak, but it missed out on a tiny bit in structure damage and things so far.
Team 12 had also missed out on a few of the gyms. You can see they're only 36 out of 50, whereas HeroesHearth has quite a lot. They've already turned in 10, they have 42 too, so they've been making sure that they are doing a good job of picking up all of these.
Oh!
Wow! Okay, a 1-for-1 trade. They're making sure to pick up on the gyms.
That's a fun way to start.
Crowan dove deep to get the kill. He was rewarded with that, but he also got sacrificed, taking a little bit longer than he would have liked to get that kill and having the Swift Strike reset.
Sure, you just type #worth, makes it all okay. I mean, that's always makes it okay when you trade like that. Just type out #worth.
You sound like you have experience in this.
It, you know, maybe not. Not going to confirm or deny.
He's pleading the fifth, guys. Level 7 almost here for both of the teams. As HeroesHearth are working their way toward getting the first turn in ahead of Team 12. We've got 34 of the 50 required. They're going to slow things down as they get 7 momentarily. Seem to have caught Dansky. Crowan's going to go in and dive for it again. He's got Arthalon there. Team coming around. Crowan very low in health, but as BBJ rotates around too, he's going to be able to keep both of the backliners alive.
That's a promising start so far for HeroesHearth. They're up in kills. Experience is fairly even. As you noted, they had the gem advantage for a bit, just missed the turn in at the bottom. But their wave clear doing things like this will force out a response. Goku's going to be here. Arthalon with his level 7. Goku's in a bad spot.
Yeah, McIntyre can continue this chase for a very long time. He will do that. Trading out with Buds too. Buds gets the gems at least. Arthalon now in danger as Cure dives forward into a blizzard though, and Crowan takes advantage, making that still a trade in sort of favor, though they had lost the stitches up to the top 2. And this is an all-out brawl, just the way that McIntyre promised.
He said it would be, and he's living up to it as we've got 7 kills here in the first 5 minutes of the game. Just getting the interrupt, and that interrupt actually allowed Team 12 to secure their turn and up at the top. Clutch play by Justin.
Justin gets the interrupt, and Team 12 gets the web weavers. Top lane set up pretty well from them there. And bottom lane, remember, they did quite a lot of damage getting the giants earlier on. So that might be a place we see them rotate. For now, they're going to get the silence underneath after the jet propulsion.
Oh, that was so close.
Was it a...
It was a helping hand.
Yeah, baby helping hand, trying to get him out of the silence.
He was like so close to being able to heal himself, but that's the combo that will pay off here.
Oh, Arthalon. Oh, Crowan. Cure finds his mark. Arthalon gets hit with a lot of poison damage. Dansky just racking in the echoed corruption stacks. As the web weavers send out the waves that take out structures, they're going to head up to the top lane actually, leaving Goku in the bottom, who is doing a lot to that fort. This is a pretty big power play for Team 12. They've got heroic abilities a level ahead of HeroesHearth.
Yeah, that would have been far less significant, but those 2 kills just compounded the issue. That's going to be a fort down and a lot more structure damage in the process, and what was an even game going into that is now a 1+ level lead. for Team 12.
Yeah, and until heroic abilities are here, HeroesHearth have to be very careful because a Horrify with a flailing swipe to push everyone else away will quickly take down anyone that Team 12 likes to get. So HeroesHearth just gonna have to let Team 12 be the bullies on the map momentarily until they get heroics and get back out.
Level 10 now picked up here for HeroesHearth. Heroics are locked in. Seems we're debating on whether we're going to go Gorge or Putrid Bile as he's holding that for the moment. Rest there. It's pretty standard across the board.
Do you have a preference?
I don't. I mean, I feel like Putrid Bile can give you the opportunity to get out of danger so long as you're not silenced first, but it can also slow down a bunch of targets, give you positioning to allow Jaina and Genji to make plays.
Yeah, same with Malthael, helps him get on his targets better.
But the other thing that can be said is that you can counter-engage with Blaze, but outside of that, nobody on that team has mobility. And so if you can isolate one person, the odds of them getting out are very slim.
You know, we talked about the Echoed Corruption build. It's also going to be great because it's still the solo support Uther. Lunara was something that Team 12 has shown before, and in this sense, we've already seen how much Dansky's doing, and he hasn't even finished Echoed Corruption yet, nor has he gotten to 16 and picked up Ruinous Affliction. BBJ's got his work cut out for him. A hook goes out. He was there for the stun. Should that have hit?
It's close. You got to think that they want to try and get a fort here to neutralize some of the experience, get themselves back in the game. BBJ in deep. Cure is way deep now.
He is. They took out BBJ. Goku's going to go into Molten Core. HeroesHearth are not in the position at all they would like to be for that to hit. Helping Hand gets Crowan out of the silence, but with the poke and the damage from Molten Core, it's not a happy time for HeroesHearth.
Not at all. They're going to try and get away. The oil slow down into the stun.
Gems.
And the bunker's going to be there. Ishbu.
Bunker blocks.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. They are down to 25 gems as McIntyre was the only one holding on to that. Team 12, multiple kills in that team fight, have enough for another turn in, and this is their opportunity to try and snowball. This is a prime opportunity for Team 12 to grasp this and not let go.
God, as soon as BBJ was down, there was no threat of Hammer of Justice, and Goku was like, in front of everybody, try me, HeroesHearth. That was a play. Team 12, going off of that, gets their Web Weavers, the second Web Weaver phase for them. During that, HeroesHearth got some structural damage done. It was a fight that Team 12 were taking while there were Web Weavers out. But even still, with so much damage and so much early damage from Team 12 in that first Web Weaver phase, they're aiming to get a lot more done here.
Good cleanse there by BBJ to make sure that Justin couldn't get that lockdown and potentially more follow-up. But right now, they are fighting for their structures. All forts are down. Level 13 is close. Team 12 on the aggression side of things with these Web Weavers.
Here in the mid, so Furious Smash goes down, forcing out the Divine Shield to keep Stitches alive. Arzalon using those zoning blizzards as much as he can. McIntyre dives in the back, pays for it with his life. There's a bunker up in front, allowing Team 12 to trade out back and forth so well to continue to have armor for this fight. Web Weaver falls down as Crowan's in the back, behind the team, doing what he can to Dansky.
He's going in. He got the reverse stun, but now we're looking at the middle keep potentially going down, and I don't see anything to stop this. The health bars are so low. Arthalon's going to try and trade into Cure, and Cure is more than happy to take that trade as the takedown is there. And Team 12, they're thinking about it.
That they are. They have a lot of clear for those minion waves. They have a 3-level lead over HeroesHearth. Justin's going to get pulled back into the middle of HeroesHearth. I would be cautious about that, though, because they got baited right back into the Molten Core. Cleanse gets Ishbu out of the swing range. He's going to drop Putrid Bile. Team 12 respecting the lower respawn timers.
I was going to say, re-engaging here is so dangerous.
Well, Team 12 might go back in. Yeah, it's, I would let Team 12 go.
Yeah. It's 16 to 13, no Jaina there yet. With that talent tier advantage, they're going straight to the boss.
Jay, how Justin's Blaze is disgusting.
It's pretty terrifying.
It is so good.
I mean, they were just taking a little bit of time. I said, we don't want to use it. First week we have an opportunity. Just let me refine my skills here. And then he's just like, all right, I'm ready. Let's go.
I just feel like he's always the first adopter of what ends up being the favored tank for a lot of tanks within the region. It was like that last year too, and And he is showing off this series. Kier's gonna get pulled in by a hook from Ishbu. But he's A-okay with the rest of the team. The boss heads toward the top keep as Team 12 looking to get even more catapults going toward Heroes Hearth's core.
This is a big time boss, but Crowan trying to turn this around. Dragon is out, as well as the D-Shield, but the Horrify comes in and annihilates him.
And Dansky's still alive. He can turn around, drop a Corruption if he wants. The front line standing strong as Justin goes back in and Malthael falls. Goku getting some self-healing out. The boss just wailing away on the core this entire time. Team 12 gets those 2 kills, going back forward as Buds keeps healing them back up. The keep will be forfeit. Can Team 12 finish out the game, though?
This is just terrifying as Team 12 continues to pressure forward. Adds 2 keeps down, 12 minutes in. A 3.5 level lead, 14 if you're looking at the exact numbers. And the amount of gems that Heroes Hearth has is nowhere near enough for a turn in. So Team 12 just needs 10 more. Then they'll look to try and close this game out with the next Web Weaver phase. And if you're Heroes Hearth, I mean, you really need a Hail Mary right now to just try and take a fight down a talent tier. This is a tough spot to be in.
And this is the last team fight. Crowan went in with the Dragon Blade, had the supporting of BBJ with the Dragon Blade, or the Divine Shield even. And McIntyre was doing his best to try to set those up for those resets, but with the bio kill switch, the healing from Buzz, it was just enough to get them through that. And then Dansky getting away was just cherry on top for Team 12. Trying to stay out of vision range so that he can't get caught. They get the 2 kills on those aggressive heroes, and then the rest are left to try to deal with the boss.
It's tough. It is very tough. Another night camp picked up here by both teams, but catapults behind that one, and now with the talent tier advantage, looks like they're moving in for more. They're coming in for the flank right now, Gilly. They're okay. I was gonna say they're not willing to fully commit, but Kier hops over, potentially looking for more.
And how do you defend this when you know Ragnaros at any moment is gonna just hop into the molten core? Thing is that you have the cooldown reduction from Hammer of the Lightbringer. Uther trying his best to make sure that he has that for, oh man, a Sophia smash. Kier went for it, but the Swift Strike was there. Can they turn this around and get Kier now? He's separated from the rest of the team quite a lot. But with that huge advantage, they're running for their lives just from the Greymane as Team 12 look to circle back around.
Dansky's corruptions right now, Gilly.
Yes.
I mean, Crowan came in to try and get the interrupt, and he was met immediately. But this combo of Cure and Dansky is scary. I mean, both of them are making insane plays.
The backline of Legends, everyone talked about it when they were secured by this team, how strong they would be. Water Elemental handled by Goku. McIntyre's gonna go in. Here comes the Molten Core, the bunker down to save everyone from the Tormented Souls, and the Dragon Blade to follow. Crowan still has it up, he's still doing his best, but with this Molten Core now, Heroes Hearth has to run.
Sulfur Smash, is he gonna go for it?
1.
Crowan's putting out the heals, giving the armor. Ghost of Uther's there, but we've still got top and bottom Web Weavers that are still incredibly healthy.
Whoa, Jaina is gone. Justin went for the shoop-de-whoop right around town. Now Genji is going down. Heroes Hearth are in pieces as their base follows suit. Kier takes out Stitches, just Malthael left. Team 12 clear out this game. 19 kills and a team wipe at the end.
Cure just went off there. I mean, 11 kills for Cure, by the way. I took a sneak peek there.
That's gonna do something to your KD ratio.
Yeah, most siege damage, most hero damage, 11 kills there. That, and it doesn't matter, any given game, both of these guys can go off between Dansky and Cure. The problem is that they both went off in one game. And you're on the side of Heroes Hearth, you're like, man, that hurt. That hurt a lot because Team 12 looked real good in Game 1.
Yeah, we talk a lot about dominant wins, but is there like a word that just is above that? Because that was just nasty. 4-level leaded, 19 kills to 5. A couple of team wipes, all the structures down.
I mean...
And the whole time it's just like, Goku, what are you going to do about these molten cores? Where are you going to attack?
I do like the fact that Team 12, because we've seen them have a priority of Johanna and Chromie on Tomb of the Spider Queen, they're like, look, all right, we're done with that. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We got aggression. We've got good wave clear. Oh, by the way, we're still pretty good all around. I like that draft a lot more than what I've seen from them before. And for them to be that dominant, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was kind of like planting their flag back down in Tomb of the Spider Queen because they've taken some losses there.
Yeah.
And that is a Team 12 map. It's been their map ever since they shut out MVP Black at the mid-season brawl, their very first game, their first series. They were able to shut out MVP Black with the old Medivh stylings of the
22-0?
Yeah, of the Team 12 of old.
Yeah, never forget.
No. And ever since then, it was like, you know, we like Battlefield and Shrines, but maybe we're also a Tomb team. That's when they started picking up Tomb, and so it was kind of weird to see them taking some losses on Tomb. But they've made it back in.
They've made it back in. I think sometimes you need that if you're a team like this that has that high priority and you've taken the L's. You can put a W up there and you can say that you feel comfortable on it. And, you know, the big part for them when they talked about it coming into this weekend was also getting over the hump of finishing games. That one was so far forward that you didn't have to worry about finishing because it was all but finished pretty early. So they're up there, but HeroesHearth, I mean, it was their battleground choice, but going up against the team who has a favor or a preference towards Tomb of the Spider Queen, can't feel too bad about it. Maybe a little bit different draft, a little bit different play style, different map.